Hey guys, welcome back to podcast 9 3/4. I'm your host, the Half-Blood Princess. In this video, I'm going to talk about a timeline of things that happened to Voldemort before Harry Potter. But before I get started, if you love Harry Potter as much as I do, be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. A lot of Lord Voldemort's backstory is left out of the Harry Potter movies. So I'm going to talk about some significant Lord Voldemort moments that happened before the series started. 1925, Voldemort is conceived using a love potion. Voldemort's mother, Merope Gaunt, was abused and neglected by her father, Marvolo Gaunt. Despite living in squalor, he had been incredibly proud and believed his family was superior in the Harry Potter wizarding world because of their Slytherin and Peverell ancestry. Marvolo's family lived near a Muggle community where his son, Morphin, enjoyed to terrorize the residents with his magic. Marvolo's prejudice against Muggles, which was typical for purebloods in Harry Potter, made it all more devastating for him when Merope used a love potion on a local Muggle, enticing him to marry her. The two ran away together, but when Merope became pregnant, she stopped giving her husband the love potion, hoping he had fallen in love with her, and instead he left her. In 1926, baby Tom Riddle is born in an orphanage. After Tom Riddle Sr., whose name Voldemort inherited before changing, left Merope, she had nowhere to go. She turned up one day at Borgin & Burke's where she pawned the only thing of worth that she had, Slytherin's locket. Having no idea the item was priceless, she accepted a measly amount of gold, which ran out quickly. She lived on the street until her labor began, and she begged for help at a London orphanage. Merope gave birth to a son and requested him to be named Tom Marvolo Riddle. Almost immediately after the baby was born, Merope passed away. She had stopped using magic after her husband left her, and Dumbledore guessed in Harry Potter that she no longer wished to be a witch. Had she used her powers, Merope could have lived and cared for her son. However, as Dumbledore pointed out in his lessons with Harry before the end of The Half-Blood Prince, she had not possessed the bravery of a mother like Lily Potter. 1937, Dumbledore invites Tom Riddle to Hogwarts. When Harry saw Tom Riddle's orphanage within Dumbledore's memory in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, he noted the kids looked clean and well enough cared for, but it didn't look like a happy environment to be raised in. This certainly seemed to be the case for Tom Riddle, who reportedly spent most of his time tormenting the other orphans. Tom had extraordinary control over his magic for such a young age and used it to cover up his crimes against the other children. Dumbledore did share that this concerned him, but he was determined not to judge too quickly. Riddle was troubled during the Fantastic Beasts timeline, but going to Hogwarts might have been what young Voldemort needed. Dumbledore told young Tom that he was a wizard, and Tom reacted by saying that he had always known that he was special. Dumbledore later suspected that Tom Riddle revealed more of himself to his new professor than he had been comfortable with, and he never fully trusted Dumbledore again. Between 1937 and 1944, Tom Riddle questions Horace Slughorn about horcruxes. When Tom Riddle came to Hogwarts, the disturbing behavior that Dumbledore had seen at the orphanage was gone. The teachers reported that Tom was bright and extremely pleasant. While everyone was fooled, except Dumbledore, Tom took advantage of the teacher's trust and researched ways to gain more power or, more precisely, achieve immortality. The teacher in particular was helpful with this, Horace Slughorn. Riddle had already used the library's resources to learn about horcruxes, but he wondered if his tie to immortality could be strengthened by splitting his soul into 7 pieces. By talking to Slughorn, he knew that this was theoretically possible, though risky. From there, Tom laid the groundwork for becoming Lord Voldemort. 1937 and 1944, Tom Riddle discovers his family history and opens Slytherin's chamber. Before Harry Potter revealed Slytherin's heir, Tom Riddle discovered his secret family lineage by researching his ability to talk to snakes. He used his genius to hunt down the Chamber of Secrets and take control of the basilisk. This began his mission to finish Slytherin's work and eliminate Muggle-borns from Hogwarts. This was when Voldemort performed his first murder. Using Slytherin's monster, he killed the Muggle-born girl, Myrtle Warren, aka Moaning Myrtle, and used her death to create his first horcrux, the diary. After Myrtle's death, as revealed during Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets ending, Riddle realized that many more incidents could result in closing of the school and therefore the loss of his home and kingdom, so he framed Rubeus Hagrid and never opened the chamber again. In 1843, Tom Riddle frames Morphin Gaunt for Tom Riddle Sr.'s murder. After discovering his ancestry, it wouldn't have taken the young Tom Riddle long to find the Gaunts, just as Dumbledore did in Harry Potter. Discovered the rundown shack, he was disappointed to find Marvolo's son, Morphin, living in filth. He had likely hoped to find family worthy of him. Still, the trip wasn't wasted since Morphin told his nephew where Tom Riddle Sr. could be found. As seen in Morphin's memory in Half-Blood Prince, Riddle attacked his uncle and stole his wand. Voldemort used it to personally kill Tom Riddle Sr. and his grandparents before leaving it with Morphin's unconscious, wiping his memory. So when the Ministry of Magic turned up, they assumed it had been Morphin. Riddle stole his uncle's family heirloom, the Peverell ring, and used his father's murder to make his second horcrux. 1943 to 1944, Tom Riddle questions the Grey Lady about Ravenclaw's diadem. Sometime before Tom Riddle left Hogwarts, he became interested in the mystery of Ravenclaw's lost diadem. He needed more items to make into his 6 horcruxes and had begun to value Hogwarts founders' items. Like Harry did in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Riddle realized that if he wanted to find something that had been lost for so long, he would need to talk to a ghost. The Grey Lady, whose real name was Helena Ravenclaw in Harry Potter, was charmed by Tom Riddle and revealed to him that she had stolen the diadem from her mother and hid it in an old tree in an Albanian forest before she was murdered. Near the end of his school career, Riddle traveled to Albania, located the diadem, and murdered a local to make his 3rd horcrux. 1944 to 1955, Tom Riddle begins working at Borgin & Burke's and finds new horcrux items. Despite his many talents and assurances from teachers that he could be the Minister for Magic one day, Tom Riddle surprised everyone by getting a job at Borgin & Burke's, the dark shop seen in Harry Potter. While working there, he traveled to wizarding houses and appraised magical items for potential purchase. This is how he found the items that would become his next 2 horcruxes, Slytherin's locket and Hufflepuff's cup. Voldemort murdered the older woman who had owned these items, Hepzibah Smith, and framed her elderly house elf for the crime. He used the murder to turn one of the items into a horcrux and found a homeless man to kill for the other. Therefore, by the time he had left his position at the wizarding shop, Tom Riddle had completed 5 of his 6 horcruxes. From here, he began to gain the followers known as his Death Eaters. Circa 1965, Tom Riddle seeks a job at Hogwarts and calls himself Voldemort. About a decade after killing Hepzibah Smith, Tom Riddle arranged a meeting with Albus Dumbledore, now headmaster, to inquire about teaching at the school. Dumbledore stated in Harry Potter that he had already began to hear rumors about what had been happening to Voldemort's body and had no intention of allowing him to teach. Still, he agreed to meet him to gauge his former student's transformation. Voldemort's body had undergone drastic changes in Harry Potter since the memory of Hepzibah. His cheeks had sunken, his nose had flattened, and there was an unmistakable scarlet gleam in his eye. When Dumbledore turned the newly dubbed Voldemort down, the Dark Lord cursed the Defense Against the Dark Arts position. Then, before leaving, he hid Ravenclaw's diadem in the Room of Requirement. 1980, Voldemort hears about Trelawney's prophecy. After his interview with Dumbledore, Voldemort's rise to power proved that the headmaster's instincts had been correct all along. Around 1970, the First Wizarding War began, and Voldemort seemed indestructible. Still, the Dark Lord feared that someone would rise to challenge him, and these fears seemed confirmed after Severus Snape repeated to him the famous prophecy. It told of a boy who would be born at the end of July, possessing a power that the Dark Lord knew not. This provided Voldemort with what he saw as the perfect opportunity. He had been waiting for a significant murder to create his sixth and final horcrux, and taking down the last threat to his power would provide just that. So he began his plan to attack in the year leading to the start of Harry Potter. 1981, Voldemort attacks the Potter family. On Halloween 1981, Voldemort arrived at Godric's Hollow. He had enticed James and Lily's secret keeper, Peter Pettigrew, to his side, so when he arrived at their residence, there was nothing to stop him from entering. Severus Snape had begged Voldemort to spare Lily, so he tried to convince her to step aside. She did not, and her sacrifice became an essential plot point of Harry Potter. Lily's refusal to save herself resulted in a protection in Harry that caused the Dark Lord's killing curse to rebound and destroy his body. His soul remained, but the curse caused it to sever. The extra piece entered Harry's body, where it stayed for 16 years until Voldemort himself destroyed it, though Harry survived the Deathly Hallows encounter. After he lost his body, Voldemort's central soul escaped to Albania, where he found a snake named Nagini. He used the murder of Bertha Jorkins to turn her into what he believed to be his sixth horcrux. These are just some of the more significant moments that happened to Voldemort prior to Harry Potter beginning. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section and be sure to like and subscribe. Okay, love you. Bye.